I think you kind of, I think redundancy is important, like engineering redundancy. Like if you've got like for your example, a tire pressure monitor, then you need to have two, and you need to have a way. It's almost like how airplanes work, right? Airplanes are kind of like self-driving in a way. And so if an airplane crashes, who's responsible? I'm not sure actually about who's responsible in that case, but it kind of becomes that protocol versus just relying on the driver. And that's kind of an interesting, like moral question too, of like a famous self-driving moral dilemma is, let's say you're driving down a street, a car cuts you off, and so the machine has to make a decision. Does it swerve left into a table of like kids, like standing at a bus stop, or does it swerve left to the outdoor cafe and maybe hit some adults there? Or does it ram into the car? And how does a computer know how to make that moral decision? Yeah, I think that's the stuff that's getting refined right now. We can do self-driving cars. Technology's there, but I think when you get into those essentially like liabilities, like America is so litigious, that's the part we've got to figure out, how to teach a computer to make those moral, because I don't know what I would do if faced with that. Do I hit the car? I would probably hit the car versus swerving to the kids or swerving to the outdoor cafe. But yeah, how do you teach a computer that? Takes a lot of narrowing down, I think. I think kind of what we talked about earlier with the phones, like it needs to become widely adopted to be like Waze would be horrible if only 1% of the population had cell phones, but so many millions do. Same with driving cars. Like if 90% of the people, whatever the statistics are for people who have smartphones, if that many people have self-driving cars, I think you can get really close to 100% safety rate with that. But yeah, if it's 50-50 and you're relying on half computer and half non-predictable human error, drunk driving, texting, yeah, you're going to have higher injury rates. But when we get closer to full adoption, I think you're going to see those rates plummet like crazy. For marketing with artificial intelligence, I think that there are probably two sides. Like I think the one side, which is more the client side, which is kind of like what you see in Minority Report. You guys see Minority Report, Tom Cruise. I think on like as a real short answer, it goes like that, like to where you're doing like retinal scans and facial recognition to, the dream of advertising, of effective, efficient advertising, is to directly custom tailor the right message to the right person at the right time in order to generate a sale. And so I think when you can get that accurate and you get access to all the data that we have on an individual person, like I think if I could see the data that the internet as a whole has on me, it's probably like really, really, at some point you probably got even blood type and, eye color, who all knows. I think that's the client side. I think on the back end side, it's a little, I think it's scary to think about it. Like it's a little disheartening because it kind of takes the human experience out of it. But I think that you got, like right now I'm working on something where you got a program using machine learning to help you write better ad copy and sales copy. And Google's got that right now where it uses the results of your ads to rewrite your headlines and your copy for you on AdWords. And so some people look at that as like cheating. Some people look at it as like, well, that's taking like the human element out of it. But I think it all depends on what's your end goal. Like if your end goal is to be like the man at marketing, then yeah, maybe it takes, a computer is always going to be faster than a human when it's programmed correctly. But if your goal is like, I'm doing all of this to free up time for myself so that I can go to the beach or so I can have money to, hang out with my wife or my kid, then I think people are cool with it. It depends on what you're in it for, I think, with how you react to how AI work. All that aside, back to marketing, I think that's where it's going. There's a client side and a marketer side, and you're just getting smarter, more accurate, more custom tailored results for your ad. So that's the thing I'm looking into really deep. There are a lot of services out there. There's one I came across the other day. I think it's called Bookmark maybe, but it does AI powered website design. And I haven't like tested it out, but from what I read on the site, it looks like what it does is it scrapes the top result. Like let's say you're wanting to do a law firm site. So it'll scrape the top results for the law firm on Google for maybe your area, and we'll put together a composite website based on the elements from that. And then I think if you can even pull in just like, you can like program in what's good design, which you can get from one of those convolutional neural networks of this is what good design is. You can, I mean, yeah, are you out of a design job? Maybe. But, you know, if I wouldn't care what, if I was able to go to the beach, at the end of the day, I looked at my account and there was 10 grand in there. And every day, I wouldn't care what I was doing. And to your point too, it frees people up to do, think of how the world would change if we could all do what we loved doing, or we even had the time to figure out what that was and let the burger flipping and the file sorting and all that stuff to the machine, and we could provide we could do whatever we wanted to do, because just as much as like a dystopian society scares people, I think a utopian society, like what's traditionally thought of as utopia, is kind of scary too. Would you really be happy just sitting on the beach all day for the rest of your life? I don't think so. Like, I enjoy the work perspective. So AI and machine learning to me is a lot about moral choices of something that traditionally has been like looked at as like, God's job or a higher power's job. Like we're created and we're made with brains, but our brains are essentially doing what computers do. They're just more advanced right now. Exactly right, in my opinion. And I don't think there's a perfect solution for anything. So it's like, where can the majority of people maybe be the happiest or the most fulfilled? And what happens as a result of that? I mean, I would see crime going down. You get to spend more time with your loved ones. You get to spend more time, like, maybe there's a person out there that's got to work 3 jobs to put food on the table, and they want to be they want to just paint, or be like a musical artist. Then all of a sudden this enables them to do that. And you can say, well, a lot of people lose their jobs and stuff, but it's almost like being a horseshoe maker at the turn of the century. It's like, no matter what, the cars are coming. And those people were out of jobs. That was a huge industry back in the late 1800s. And it just happens. And it sucks. And like eventually, like, yeah, I'll be out of a job probably as a designer, because you'll be able to pay a computer or have a computer do it better than I ever could for free. But there's you can either like lament that and be like, well, shit, like I don't know what I'm gonna do and I'm screwed and this sucks and I want to prevent it. Or you can just say, okay, it's gonna happen probably. How can I contribute to that? Google, like machine learning in Google Maps or machine learning in Waze, man, it's wild what they connect up and what's being taken from your phone and being pushed to your phone. And then just like, what was I going to say past that? Yeah. Just even the real-time calculation with traffic is wild, but it's like that thing I remember in college, we were in some class and the iPhone had just come out. So our project was to design an app, not like a working one, but just like, what if we could create an app, what would it be? We didn't have to code anything. It was just like drawings. And at the time it was like, well, man, this isn't something that's in everyone's pocket. It's just, some people have this, but now, everyone has a phone. Steve Jobs essentially did that. He created something that now everyone has. And sure, cell phones were like prolific before then, but not to the extent it was today. Like if someone doesn't have a smartphone, you're kind of like, that person's a little shady, right? It's like, what's wrong with that guy? Like rock bands from back in the day. I was this past week, I was at this little bar kind of in downtown Atlanta. And you know how it's a music venue, fits maybe 500 people. And you know how like in the bathrooms, it'll have posters of who's playing in the next month. Scott Stapp is playing there next month. And I was like, how the mighty have fallen. You got from Creed, right? So they were playing Woodstock and on the Grammys and all this stuff. And now he's like playing this little 500 seat bar, essentially, like a cover band would play there. So that was really strange to see. And I guess it kind of ties into like, yeah, just in 10 years where all this stuff that was like on top of the world, CDs, Creed, unfortunately, API into our car engines, right? And instead of our phone saying, hey, there's a slowdown, our car engine would know that and would be able to predict that. I'd be interested to see, like, I don't know, I have no clue about these statistics, but I'd be interested to see the cause of most accidents. If just without knowing, I would say most accidents are probably caused by drunk drivers, distracted drivers, and other things like that. But with self-driving, you eliminate that. But for the most part, right? You can be plastered, get in your car, put a button, and lean back and go to sleep, and you're home in 20 minutes. So I think if I would be happy with 99.9%. It's like like a Lysol. It's like kills 99.9% of all germs. So people take that, knowing you can't get 100%. I would take 99.9% accuracy with a car. And if I was the one that got killed, that would suck. But I think humanity's better off for it. Down to like an opinion of everyone's opinion is going to be different on it. I don't have anything to hide in terms of privacy, so I'm happy to give up privacy and information to be able to use like apps for free and to be able to get more custom advertising. And in the end, it still relies on me whether I spend the money or not. It's like they're not just they're not taking money out of my bank account and then putting the item on my front door. I think then you're kind of talking about a self-control issue, which a lot of people deal with. I myself, we buy things on the fly. But yeah, you're not really at that point talking about the computer made me do it. They made me buy that $500 tablet or whatever. But yeah, stuff's getting anytime you use an app for free and you ask, how is it free? This is amazing. They're selling your data for a lot of money on the back end, but that's allowing us to get more accurate results. Like, the face app that's really popular now, unlocking your phone with your face, like the new, all the new phones are doing that. All that information is being sent back to servers. And even if it's anonymous, you're still developing those machine learning programs with millions of case studies there.